Hello everyone, myself Pancham Singh, Assistant Professor in IT Department, AKGC Ghaziabad. I am going to discuss today the very important topic like process management. So first I will discuss about the process. So you know very well what is the process and what is the program. A process is runtime, process is active entity and program is passive entity. If any program in execution, that is called the process. So how you will manage the process, that is the challenge for you. So process can be managed by the different ways. So here I am going to discuss about the process management. A process is a program in execution. It is a unit of work within the system. Our program is a passive entity and process is entity. So I have discussed about that ki a process is active entity and program is passive entity, and you can say that a program in execution, that is called the process. So here is the some important topic are given here. Process needs resources to accomplish its task like CPU, memory, input output, files, initialization and data. So process need the resources whenever they want to accomplish this task. So these are the important for the processes when program is going to execution. Process termination requires reclaim of any reusable resources. Single-threaded process has a program counter specifying location of the next instruction to execute. Process executes in instruction sequential one at a time until completion. And what about the multi-threaded? So multi-threaded process has one program counter per threads. Typically system have many processes, some user, some operating system running concurrently on one or more CPUs. So in process management, so if one process is running at a time, so counter will increase in the value of the program which are running in the system. In multi-threaded environment, if more than one program are running at the same time, so how operating system will manage multi-threading environment, single threading environment, and these are the very challenges in process management by the operating system. Process management activities, some important activities are given here. The operating system is responsible for the following activities in the connection with the process management. So operating system will manage different activities which are occur in the process management. Let's say process, the first activity is creating and deleting both user and system process. So you can create and delete both user and system process. A second activity is suspending and resuming processes. Third one is the providing mechanism for process synchronization. Next one is the providing mechanism for process communication, providing mechanism for deadlock handling. So these are the important activities which are going to happen in the process management, and these are the very important. What about the memory management? How memory will be managed by the operating system and how memory will be used by the different processes when they have the requirement for the memories. So these are the very important whenever a program is going to execute, and how much memory that can be demanded by that particular program or processes. So what about the storage management? So storage management are very important for operating system where you will store your data or records. So operating system provides a uniform logical view of information storage, abstract physical properties to logical storage unit like files. Each medium is controlled by the device like disk drive, tab drives, etc. These are the secondary storage devices where you can store the different data, and it is storing devices which will store the large amount of data. So they are going to vary according to their speed, their capacity, their data transfer rate, etc. File system management. Files usually organized into the directories. So directory play the big role in the operating system, and where you will manage the different files in the operating system. So this is the another very important challenge in the operating system whenever you are going to store the data in the operating system, in the secondary storage or in the primary storage, and how you will manage the files in the directories. Access control on most systems to determine who can access what. So access control is very important here. So who will determine what you will access now, and who will give the permission to you to access that file or that data. Mass storage management. In mass storage management, usually disk used to store data that does not fit in the main memory or data that must be kept for the long period of time. So mass storage management are very important nowadays. If the primary memory is not going to store the large amount of data at the runtime, then where you will store the data? So this is the very important for you to store the data in the secondary storage. So proper management is of central important in the mass storage. So if there is a company and that company is going to run from the 100 or 200 or 300 servers, a client server structure, so how they will store the data, all clients that can be used by the machine, that can be used by the server, like Google, how Google will manage the information that can be used by a lot of peoples in the world. So this is the very challenge for the storage management, when server will reply to you in frequent manner whenever you are going to access that particular information. So entire speed of the computer operation hinges on disk subsystem and its algorithms. So OS activities. So what activities will be done by the operating system? So free space management. Operating system will manage the space which are available to store the another data inside the memory. Storage allocation. How operating system will allocate the next process that particular area whenever they want to store the data. This scheduling is another very important activities in the operating system. So how you will going to retrieve the different values from the disk, and whenever you are using the different algorithms like disk scheduling. So how will you access the data from the disk, and by using the different algorithms. So these are the very important activities in the operating system. So operating system is responsible for free space management, storage allocation management, and disk scheduling. So these are the very important which activities which will be done by the OS. Some storage need not be fast, like tertiary storage includes optical storage, magnetic tape. So the speed of the data which are going to retrieve from the optical storage, magnetic tape, so will be slow, very slow, because the storage capacity is very high. It still must be managed by the OS. So operating system will manage all types of data which we are going to retrieve from the optical storage, or which are going to use by the main memory or secondary storage. So these are the challenges for the operating system to manage the storage capacity, manage the processes, and what demand by the process to use that particular area or particular memory. This is the performance of various labels of the storage. So we are going to explain one by one. So in the label 1, that show the name, registers, labels that show the name. So in name, physical typical size, let's say size less than 1 KB, which type of storage you will use? You will use the register. Less than 16 MB, where you will store the data, you will use the cache memory. Less than 64 GB, you can use the main memory, and less than 1 TB, 10 TB, then you will use the solid state disk and magnetic tape. So if you are going to store the data in the different storage capacity, so we will start from the register, cache, main memory, solid state disk and magnetic tapes. So they are going to increase in the size, but they are going to decrease in the speed. So if you are going to increase the size of the disk, size of the space of, or you can say size of the storage capacity, so definitely the speed will be decreased and the cost will be increased. So this is the migration of data A from disk to the register. So how data will move from the disk to the register. So this is the block diagram here. Hard disk, we are fetching the data from the hard disk and it will go to the main memory. Then after data will move to the cache memory. Then after it will go to the register. So register is the smallest storage unit where you can store the data less than 1 KB. So this is the smallest unit where you can. So this diagram simply show that how data will be retrieved from the secondary storage to the register, and this show the block diagram. So here is the input output subsystem. So input output subsystem means how operating system will listen the request that can be given by the user if one process want to communicate to the operating system or want to run that particular program. So first that program first that request will be sent by the user. If the user will send the request, then after that request will be listened by the operating system, and operating system will give the permission on the basis of the hardware. So operating system will also check the hardware requirement recommended by the user. So if hardware will be available, memory will be available, then after that program will be run in the main memory by the operating system. So what about the protection and security? These are the very challenging environment nowadays in the operating system. So how operating system will protect you to use the correct value, correct information from the secondary storage, from the main memory. So protection is another very important challenge here. Any mechanism for controlling access of processes or user to resource defined by the OS. So whatever you are going to use the resource from the main memory or from the secondary storage, so operating system definitely protect the data which are available in the main memory or in the secondary storage. What about the security? Security defines, or you can say defines the system against internal and external attack. So for example, someone want to access your data from your system, so definitely he will break the password, he will hack the system, and they can crash your data, they can crash your hard disk. So this is the security area, and it is very important in some area like military area and the banking system. If someone is hacked the system, definitely they will give you a lot of harms. So that's why security is very important concern in the operating system. So here is the kernel data structure. So in kernel data structure is divided into three main category. So first one is the single linked list, doubly linked list, and circular linked list. So by singly linked list and doubly linked list and circular linked list, you can many of the systems, many of the programs, they can be faced by the kernel in sequential manner, in two-way manner, or in circular manner. So many similar to standard programming data structure can be performed in three different ways. So kernel data structure, I am going to explain about the kernel data structure in terms of the binary search. So left LSR equals to right search performance on the basis of ON notation. So balanced binary search, that balanced binary search tree, that is based on algorithm like O log N notation. So these are the notation through which we can perform the search in the operating system with the help of the kernel. So this is the kernel data structure here. So by using the hash function, you can also search the different values which are available in the hash function. So hash function is the key value through which we are going to you are going to access that particular value which are available in that particular array. So by using the hash function, you can also search that particular value from the hash map, but with the help of the kernel. What about the computing environment? In computing environment, we are going to explain about the traditional, so stand-alone general purpose mechanism, but blurred as most system interconnect with the others, that like internet. Portals provides web access to internal subsystems. Network computers are like web terminals. Mobile computer interconnection like wireless networks. So we are going to connect the worlds in the network. So definitely we are going to establish the network. So I am going to discuss about the network like here in computing environment. So first you will establish the local area network. Now we are going to establish the wide area network and metropolitan area network, and last one is the personal area network. So that is called the PAN. So network is the very important phenomenon where you are going to establish the connection in the local, global, and metropolitan area network. So why networking is important in operating system, or you can say how operating system will support for the networking environment through which we can share the data in global manner, share the data information in the metropolitan areas or in the local areas. So these are the very important. So here operating system are designed on the basis of the network. So some operating system cannot support the networking concept like Windows XP, Windows 98, Windows 2000, but some special operating systems which are designed for the networking like Windows 2000 NT, and some more operating systems which are designed for the network environment through which we can communicate to the another machine with the help of the network. So in computing environments, client server structure I have already explained in the previous lecture. So client server structure, they can communicate with the help of the network only. So connection establishment will be possible only with the help of the network. So server or machine where number of clients they want to receive the data from the server, they are going to use the network structure or network environment in local area network, in metropolitan area network, or worldwide network, that is called the internet. So these are the client server structure where different clients they want to receive the message and they want to communicate the message. They can use the networking concept. So another is very important computing environment, that is peer-to-peer model, or you can say peer-to-peer. So in peer-to-peer model, every client are interconnected to each other and they can share the message everyone. So this is the advantage of one-to-one communication or point-to-point communication. So in peer-to-peer communication means if there is 100 candidate or 100 clients are there, so 100 clients they are directly interlinked to each other and they can share the data between each other. So this is the advantage of peer-to-peer communication. Now I am going to discuss about the computing environment like virtualization. So virtualization is the very important concept in the operating system, and how virtualization concept are established nowadays are very popular. So virtualization means OS natively compiled for CPU running guest OS also natively compiled. So virtualization concept are very popular like VMware running in Windows XP guest, each running applications all are native in Windows XP host OS. VMM Virtual Machine Manager provides virtualization service. So if you are going to access the virtualization services, so virtualization services you can receive or you can access with the help of the Virtual Machine Manager. So Virtual Machine Manager that will give the services with the help of the virtual machine area, or you can say virtual machine concept through which we can access the different services. So I am going to discuss about the virtual machine concept in this diagram here. Like in the first diagram, there is only one process are given here. So processes, they want to access the information, they want to run the program. So they will give the permission from the kernel side, and kernel will check the hardware requirement, then after your program will execute. But in second case, now if number of processes are same time or you use the common area or common hardware, then how you will use the virtualization concept is here. So virtualization concept you can establish here. So Virtual Machine Manager will manage the hardware, or you can say manage the request of the different processes which are given by the different processes, and they want to use the common hardware at the same time. Then virtual machine concept through which we can run many programs at the same time with the help of the virtual machine concept. So computing environment like cloud computing is is very important nowadays. So if you are going to retrieve the services, different services from the cloud in computing environment, so you can create the public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. So there are different types of the clouds through which we can get the different services in the mode of the payment. Like you are giving the payment through which we can use the public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Through we can use the different services like software as a service, and second one is the platform as a service, and last one is the infrastructure as a service. So these type of services you can access with the help of the cloud computing environment. So the cloud computing environment is given here. So with the help of the internet, you can access different services from the cloud and this is the diagram where you are using the cloud computing environment. What about the real-time embedded system? So I am not going to discuss more about the real-time embedded system. So real-time operating system is very important. By real-time operating system, basically real-time operating system is divided into two categories. One is the hard real-time and second is the soft real-time. So hard real-time basically used in the area where time boundation is very important, like a military area where military weapons we are going to float on another country. So that's why hard real-time is very important. But in case of soft real-time, the time boundation is not fixed. So little bit time up and down may be occur in the soft real-time system. So real-time embedded system are another is most important point in the operating system through which we can establish a connection between the one machine to another machine, and if one machine want to communicate to another machine by using the hard real time and soft real time, they can use and get the services. So what about the open source operating system? So open source operating system, many operating system nowadays are open, so you can use the services through the open system environment, like operating system made available in the source code format rather than just binary closed source. Now in second point, counter to be the copy protection and digital rights management, like DRM movement. And next one is the started by the Free Software Foundation, that is FSF, which has copyleft GNU public license GPL. So many open source software are available in the systems. So directly you can use that open source software, open source operating system, and you can install in your system and you can use. Thank you.